everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sunday meal prep video. If you are new here, I currently follow the WW Blue program. However, I always give you the points for all three programs, blue, purple, and green. And also on my website, planningushealthy.com, I have all my recipes listed. I give the point value for WW and I also give the nutritional facts like calories, fat, carbs, and all that stuff. So if you don't follow WW, you can definitely get that off of my website. And you don't have to be on any type of weight loss program to follow my meal prep videos. I'm basically just trying to give you an idea of how you can kind of just meal prep throughout the week and make things a lot easier for you throughout the week, especially if you work outside the home like I do. So for breakfast prep this week, I'm going to be making cake batter pancakes. So excited to try this recipe. I didn't even know there was such a thing as cake batter extract. For lunch meal prep this week, I'm going to be doing sheet pan kielbasa bowls. I've actually had these before. I've made them before and I love them. They're basically turkey kielbasa, rice, and a bunch of vegetables. You just throw it all on a sheet pan and cook it, and it is so good. For dinner, I'm just pre-packaging, I think 3 this week. So if you're new to my channel, I only meal prep out Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday for my husband and I. I do 6 breakfasts and 6 lunches. And then for my dinners, I just kind of put them in bags. I'm not cooking them, I'm not washing the produce, I'm just basically weighing them out. I'm just putting the portions that I need in the package. And then that way throughout the week, it's kind of like a dinner kit. I could just pull that dinner kit out and start dinner and I know how much is in it. I know how many points I'm going to be having based on what is in that bag. So that's all I do for those. And then Thursday and Friday for breakfast and lunch, we usually do something different, something basic, maybe a packet of oatmeal or cereal or something like that. So if you want to see how I meal prep breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks for my husband and I, then stay with me. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kristi and I'm Planning Us Healthy. Alright, so we're going to start with breakfast and the cake batter pancakes. So I was looking at the recipe and you know what, I better put my apron on or I'm going to end up with pancake batter all over me. So I was looking at the recipe. I got this recipe from jonespointedplate.com and she actually does it for either pancakes or waffles. And I actually got my little mini dash out and I was going to do waffles on it. But then I saw that she said it usually gets 3 to 4 waffles out of a serving, which I thought was great. But since I'm doing 6 servings, I decided I'm just going to do it into a pancake bake. I'm going to bake it in the oven for, like I do my normal pancake bakes, 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. But I will tell you, I'm definitely going to make these for waffles over the weekend when we just make like single portions of it. I'm definitely going to make that. Okay, so on the website, on her website, she has the ingredient list is for 1 serving. So I'm going to be multiplying that by 6. And if you watched my grocery haul video, you may have seen that they didn't have the Kodiak cakes. I actually had just enough in my pantry. I still had some left in a box. I didn't think I had enough, so I'm using that. So I have 2 cups of Kodiak cakes, and actually I just realized this was the chocolate chip version. That's okay. And then I'm going to put in 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And then I have 1.5 cups of unsweetened almond milk. And then I'm going to be putting 6 eggs. And then 6 teaspoons of cake batter extract. And again, I never even knew this stuff existed. So I'm so excited to try this. And finally, I had to message Joan last night because on her recipe it says to use 1/2 tablespoon of Jimmy's, rainbow Jimmy's, 1/2 tablespoon of rainbow Jimmy's She is up in Jersey. I am down in Florida, and I'm like, what on earth are jimmies? Thank God she had the word rainbow, because that's what I thought. It must be sprinkles. So even when I lived up in New York, I never heard it called jimmies. So let me know in the comments, are you jimmies or are you sprinkles? So it's a half a tablespoon for the one portion. So I'm going to use 3 tablespoons. I feel like I'm just making regular cake. I really do. I feel like I'm making a cake. And actually, Jackie, last name, Liz. Jackie Liz, I think it's pronounced Jackie. It's kind of spelled different. But Jackie, if you're watching, Jackie said she made my blueberry pancake bake for the first time, and she used cake batter extract. And she said it legit tasted like cake. So I'm so excited to try this. So now just mix everything up. All right. Man, I really want to make waffles with it, but it'll take me, my meal prep video would end up being 2 hours long. All right, so I have a 13 by 9 inch pan sprayed with cooking spray, and now I'm just going to dump the batter in there. So if you are familiar with my pancake bakes, you know that this whole pan makes 6 servings. They are huge pieces. But I think that I'm going to pair it with, since these are so low in points, these are 3 points on blue and purple and 5 points on green. So since I'm on blue, so I think I'm going to put some Canadian bacon in with it when we have our breakfast. So now I'm going to stick that in the oven on 350 degrees for just about 25 to 30 minutes. So I'll put that in and come back and start on lunches. All right, so now moving on to lunch. For lunch prep, I'm doing the sheet pan kielbasa bowls. These are really good. They're 6 points for all programs, blue, green, and purple, 6 points. So what I've done is I've actually taken a couple pans because I think it's going to use more than one pan because I'm putting a lot of vegetables on there. So I've lined 2 pans with aluminum foil and I've sprayed it with cooking spray. And then what I'm using for mine is 18 ounces of turkey kielbasa. And these are actually 13 ounces in each package. So I'm going to use a whole package and then 5 ounces of another package. I'm using some Brussels sprouts that I'm going to cut into small pieces. I'm using some butternut squash, a red pepper, a yellow pepper, a red onion, a squash and a zucchini, about 4 or 5 ounces of carrots, and then I'm also just going to use this ready rice. This is the long grain and wild ready rice that I use all the time. You see me, I have it with my salmon. I'm just going to be putting, this is about 2 cups in the package, so I'm just going to split this package amongst the 6 servings. So I'm going to have about 1/3 of a cup in each serving. I'm going to use some Italian seasoning, some ranch seasoning, and some garlic. And then the other thing I usually put in is some fresh broccoli. But if you watched my grocery haul the other day, you saw that the only broccoli they had was organic and it was really expensive. I actually have some frozen broccoli Normandy that I had in my freezer. So I'm just going to take just a little bit. Usually I only use 4 ounces of broccoli in this. So I'm just going to take a little bit out of this and put that on the tray. So this one, it gets baked in the oven on 400. So I'm going to wait for the breakfast bake to come out before I put that in, which by the time I cut everything up. I got to wash my vegetables first. So I am going to wash the vegetables and then come back and cut everything up. Okay, so to cut these, I'm just cutting them into just small pieces. The kielbasa, I'll just cut into, I don't know, maybe like 1/2-inch portions. But you can cut them up however you want. And for this recipe, you can actually use whatever vegetables you want. That's the good thing with this one. You can change it up. I try and keep it the same way just for the recipe purposes, but there are times where I'll make this and use different things in it too. So that's it. Just go through and cut them into just smaller pieces. You want to try to get all the vegetables sliced into similar size pieces so that they cook evenly though. And carrots usually take a bit, so I always try and cut my carrots a little bit smaller. The only thing I'm not going to add right now is the garlic because I don't want to overcook that. You guys hear me talk about that all the time. Garlic can burn very easily, so I usually just add that for the last couple minutes. So I'll just go through and cut these up. So now that everything's cut up, I'm actually gonna put it on one pan first just so I can kind of mix it all together. And then I'll distribute it to the other pan. And I actually have a couple peppers there that I missed. I said I was gonna cut my carrots smaller and they're actually probably the biggest vegetables I have on here. That's all right. Okay, so I think I used about 6 Brussels sprouts. This is a 16-ounce bag of butternut squash. I need just about 8 ounces, so I'm just going to use about half of this. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need 2 pans. But I'll at least use this pan to mix everything. I'll even put the seasonings on it to mix it all in. Alright, and then I'm going to cut up my kielbasa. So the first thing I'm going to do is just weigh out that other 5 ounces. So these are 13-ounce ones, so I'm going to take a guess at that. 4.5, I was close. Just gonna set this one aside. I'll put that in a baggie. That's gonna be extra that we're gonna have. So just cut these up into just kind of like bite-sized pieces. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to add is a little bit of broccoli, and I think I'm just going to run this under cool water first, just so that they're not quite as frozen. Alright, so I'm going to actually just cut the big ends off, and then just cut them a little bit in bite-sized pieces. And then I've got a few pieces of cauliflower in there too, so I'll just throw that on there. Now we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Just kind of sprinkle it over the top. You can put whatever seasonings you want. And then we're gonna add some ranch. This is just basically the ranch seasoning that you use to make ranch dressing. 2 teaspoons of that sprinkled over the top. And then the last thing we're going to do is, I don't know if I've got enough oil in there. Yeah. 1 teaspoon of olive oil. And then just sprinkle that over the top. Just basically enough to give it just some moisture to stir it all together. You could actually, honestly, you could put this in a bowl. It would probably be a lot easier to do it in a bowl first and then just transfer it to the pans after. All right, and just put half of it on another tray. All right, so that is all we do with those. So as you can see, it looks awesome. So now I'm gonna wait for the pancakes to get done, and then I will put these in. Like I said, I'll bump my oven up to 400 because I have it on 350 right now for the pancakes. So I'll bump the oven up to 400 and put these in for just about 30 minutes. And then usually what I do is halfway through, I'll stir them. And then I need to remember, because I want to say the last time I made these, I forgot. I need to remember to add the garlic at the end. You can add however much garlic you want. On my recipe, I say to add 3 garlic cloves, but the garlic is up to you. I'm probably going to add maybe a couple tablespoons of this. So I will get that going and move on to dinners. Okay, so moving on to dinners. So basically, like I said, I'm just doing kind of like dinner kits. So what I do is just mark my bags with what is in it and how many points it is. And then, like I said, I'm not washing anything. I'm just measuring it out and putting it in there. So if you saw my grocery haul, you saw that I actually got some cedar plank salmon. So I was just going to do the cedar plank salmon and just kind of top it with some, so I was going to do the cedar plank salmon and just kind of top it with some seasonings, but I really want my basil parmesan, so I'm doing that. The thing is, I didn't have basil this time, so I'm going to try it with just some regular dried basil leaves, and I will see how it goes. I'll let you know. It looks the same. Normally I don't put the basil in here, but that's just when it's fresh. The dried leaves, they're not going to overpower it. So I'm just mixing that with my mayonnaise. For those of you who are new, it's just 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of Parmesan, and some basil. If I use fresh basil, it's 6 leaves. I honestly just kind of poured a little bit in there. I would say I probably used maybe a tablespoon or a little bit more. And then I also have another half a tablespoon of Parmesan that will go over the top. I'm just showing you how I package the foods. I'm not really doing like cook with me's or anything, but all the recipes for everything that I'm showing today, all the recipes will be down in the description box below. So for the salmon, basically I'm just putting everything in the bags. I'm actually putting the salmon in there like that because I still may use the cedar plank. I just haven't quite decided how I'm going to do those yet. So, and then just put my toppings in there. And the other thing I'm going to be using is some long grain and wild rice. I don't know because I'm going to be having that for lunch too. So I may change my mind on that. I'm just not sure yet. And then the other thing I'm going to have with it is asparagus, which actually I need to put that down in the bottom of the bag first. I usually cook up all the asparagus because if I don't cook it all, it'll sit in my fridge. So I cook it and then my husband will usually eat it up if there's anything left. I don't particularly care for asparagus, but I will eat it if we don't have another vegetable. So, and since they didn't have broccoli, I'm going to eat it. So that's all I do. I just cut the ends off and then put it in the bag. And then the night that I have it, which we always do, fish night is Monday night. So I will come home from work, take everything out of the bag, wash the produce, and that's it. That's all I do with that. For this salmon recipe, it's 2 points for blue and 2 points for purple, and then 9 points for green because I split this pound into 3 portions rather than 4. So that's why mine are a little bit higher in points than some of your other typical salmon recipes. So that's it for that one. The next night is going to be crispy breaded pork chops. These are 5 points for blue and purple and 6 points for green. And I'm going to have this with ranch cauliflower and roasted potatoes. The recipe for this one, I want to thank Becky because she pointed out to me, she messaged me and asked me what temperature do I air fry it, and I looked and I didn't have the temperature on there, so I have fixed that, Becky. I did take off the printable one because I need to fix that, but if you go to my recipes, you'll be able to go to it and you'll see it on there. I just haven't updated the printable one yet. So if anybody ever sees anything with my recipes, you see a typo or you see anything, please bring it to my attention. I am not a picky person. I do not get upset with constructive criticism, and I am doing this all by myself. I don't have anybody that does my website for me. I don't have anybody that does anything for me. I try and do all of this all my own, and I will tell you it is very time consuming to keep up that website. So if you see any typos or you see something out of place or something doesn't sound right, please, please, please shoot me an email, planningushealthy@gmail.com, or comment to me on one of my videos and bring it to my attention. I have a few viewers out there who have become my proofreaders, so to speak. So please, if you see something, don't be afraid to point it out to me that I spelled something wrong or something doesn't seem right. I am very open to any help I can get with that. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna do some roasted potatoes. Not sure if I'm gonna do the oven or I don't know if I'm gonna put it in the air fryer. So we usually split about 3/4 of a pound. So I need to get these potatoes used up. Okay, so I'm just putting the potatoes and then I'll wash them the night we have them. This is an extra one, so I'm gonna put this in that bag. Use that for the other night. So I've got my potatoes. The next thing I'm going to do, now usually like I said I don't cut things up, but for the cauliflower I do. I got like way too much stuff on my table, y'all. So some of the YouTube channels I watch, they are so neat and they have like their tables so clean and they don't even make a mess, but you guys can tell that's not me. That's not me. Alright, so for the cauliflower, I'm just going to kind of break it apart and then just kind of cut it into a little bit of bite-sized pieces. Alright, and then just put that in the bag. All right, and then I have 2 5-ounce pieces of pork chop, so I will put those in there. And the next thing I'm going to put in there is my topping. This topping is actually enough for 6 portions, so that's how much I have on the website. What I usually do is I make this into 6 portions, and then I just use 1/3 of it each time that I make that. And that way, I'm just making it one time and it lasts 3 dinners. So I'll use 1/3 of it and then put it back in my pantry. So let me read to you what is in this. So in this one is 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs, 1/3 of a cup of cornflake cereal, crushed cornflakes, 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 1/4 of a teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Again, the recipe will be down in the description box, but that's what's in that. And then the other thing I'm going to need that night is an egg, which I'm not going to put the egg in the bag because y'all know what'll happen if I do that. So, and then I'll be just dipping, basically just dipping the pork chops into the egg and then into the breading mixture. The last thing I'm going to do is the ranch dressing for the cauliflower. So I've got 2 containers here. One will be mine and one will be my husband's. This is basically just the topping for the cauliflower. So basically what I want is 1 ounce in each container. Alright, and then we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of the ranch seasoning into each one. So I've got a teaspoon measuring cup, so I'll just split this between the 2. Alright, and that is it for that one. so that one is done. Okay, for our last dinner, I'm doing Philly style Hasselback chicken. The side for that one is a squash and zucchini lime crema. So I'm going to put my squash and zucchini down in the bottom. And then my onion, I'm going to do a red pepper and an orange pepper. I don't have any green peppers. Usually I use green pepper. I know this is not a normal Philly. I live down south, and down here when we hear Philly style, it usually means it has onions and peppers on it. So I always get comments from my friends whenever I make this. Okay, and then I have 2 6-ounce chicken breasts that I'm going to put in there. And this is basically a Hasselback chicken. I cook up the onions and peppers first on the stove, and then I cut slits in the chicken and stuff everything in there and then put it in the air fryer. It's so good. Again, the recipe will be down in the description box. I actually forgot to get provolone. For some reason, I always forget to get provolone. So I'm going to put these slices of Velveeta in the bag, but I may stop. I'm not having this until Wednesday night, so I may just stop at the store. If I have to stop at the store for anything Monday night or Tuesday night, I will just pick up some provolone. And I usually use the ultra thin provolone for this. And then the other thing I'm going to need is a lime for the lime crema. So I'm just going to throw that in there. I'm also going to use this Cajun seasoning. This is Louisiana Cajun, or if you have like Chipotle seasoning. I'm doing 1 teaspoon, and that's going to be sprinkled on the vegetables, just on the zucchini and squash. So that goes in. And the last thing I need is 2 ounces of sour cream. So the sour cream is going to get mixed with the lime juice. I'm going to use 2 ounces of sour cream and about a teaspoon of lime juice. And that'll be for the zucchini and squash. All right, that's all there is to dinners. So that's all I do. Just putting little kits together, make it easier for me throughout the week. So I am going to check on my lunch and add the garlic. It's probably about time to add the garlic now. And then I'm going to clean up this mess a little bit, and then I will show you what I'm putting together for snacks, which is actually going to be really easy this week because I'm not going to be cutting up fruit. I just put the garlic on the kielbasa bowls, and they're not cooking as quick as I thought they would. I think it's because I have 2 big trays, so I can't fit them on one tray. So I kind of have them on top, one on one row, or one down on one tray and one on the other. So I just flipped them. So they're taking a little bit longer than normal. I would say if you only had 1 tray, it would probably just take 30 minutes, but it's gonna take a little bit more. I actually did bump my oven up to 450. I'll see how that works. I think, like I said, I think it's just because there's so many in there. So for snacks this week, I forgot that I bought these little mini cucumbers. So I'm just gonna cut these up and put them in a bowl with some light Italian dressing. This is the Olive Garden Light, and we can kind of just snack on those throughout the week. If you want, you could actually wash these and eat them with the skins. I have to be careful right now with fruit and with some vegetables. I can have vegetables, but they have to be really cooked real well, or I can't have skins on them. So basically, I'm just gonna peel these up and cut them into bite-sized pieces. Throw them in the bowl, and we can snack on them throughout the week. Okay, so that's all I do with those. Sometimes we have these for a vegetable to go with dinner. I always forget about doing that, but we love these. They're so good, and there's something about the taste of the mini cucumbers that is really good. So then I'm just gonna sprinkle some, just pour some of the salad dressing over it. And kind of shake it up. And that's it, and we'll snack on that during the week. And then the other thing, I already did this. You guys see me do this every week. I know you're probably sick of some of this stuff. I try not to show the same thing every week, but there's some things that I have the same thing every week, like my salmon. And I don't want to skip showing that because that's part of my meal prep. So I know a lot of you fast forward through that, and that's totally fine. But I do want to just keep it in because, you know, that's how I meal prep. All right, so basically these are Snack Factory pretzels. I just portion them out. I weigh out 29 grams, and that way they're already packaged in there, because if I have just the bag, I will get in trouble. And I'm going to confess to you that I had the bag last night and I got in trouble. I just was eating so many of them. I thought I was just going to have a little handful, and I know better than that. And the next thing I know, the problem is I start eating them and then I'm doing something else. And I think I was in conversation with my husband. I was on my computer at the same time, and I was just snacking on them, not even paying attention to what I was doing. So that is why it is so important for me to weigh these out. And these are, I am all about carbs. I love carbs, but I do try to eat the majority of my carbs in good carbs, like potatoes, rice, and things like that. And I try not to have a lot of my carbs be things like this, but you know what? Things happen. Like I said, this is just 29 grams. This was actually, they're kind of crushed because it was towards the bottom of the bag. And then what I will do is, whenever I have these, sometimes I snack on them alone, but I have been using, I'll use the queso dip from Aldi. I'll get that out and show you that at the end. I weigh out 35 grams of the queso dip and dip the pretzels in it. That's pretty much all the snacks I'll be having this week besides my pudding, and sometimes I will have a yogurt. So I'll show you those at the end as well. For breakfast the rest of the week, Thursday and Friday, I'm just going to do this low sugar maple and brown sugar oatmeal. And then I have my 2 points worth of Fiber One cereal. And then I have my half a cup of unsweetened almond milk that I've already weighed out and measured out. So I just take, what I do on Mondays, I take everything to work with me. We have a fridge at work. I have a box in there with my name marked on it. And I just put everything in there. That way it's already there for the week and I'm done. So now I'm going to portion out the breakfast, and also I'm going to be using this Maple Grove Farms sugar-free syrup. This is the best syrup. I say that every time. I love, love, love this syrup. So we're going to do 1/4 of a cup, which is 60 milliliters. So I'll measure out 60 milliliters into these containers. I already have a couple of them that I already did, and I'll put those in the containers. So let me grab the pancakes and come right back. All right, so I'm telling you, this smells so good. It looks like I maybe didn't stir it up quite enough. It looks like I've got some of the powdered pieces there that are showing, but oh well, that's fine. So now I'm going to cut it into 6 pieces. And actually, usually what I do with my pancake bake, it's 6 portions, but I actually cut it into 12 pieces. I really want to just put some frosting on this. That's how much it smells like cake. Okay. Then I'm just going to take those pieces and cut those in half. And just get our trays out here. And then just portion them into trays. And I want to check to see how my bottom turned out. It should be, oh yeah, perfect. I don't know if you can see that. I'm serious, it does. It's like cake. Oh, that looks so good. I don't even think I'm going to fit them in this container. I might have to get a different container. That is so nice and fluffy. All right, so I'm going to use these containers instead. There we go. All right, I just had to recharge my battery on my camera. All right, so that is the breakfast, and they look so good. They smell so good. So now I'm just going to finish weighing out my syrup. So like I said, I'm putting 60 milliliters in each container. Alright, and the last thing I'm going to put in there is just 2 slices of Canadian bacon. And I'm just gonna, actually, I think I'll cut them in half. Okay, so breakfast is done. I'm actually going to leave these tops off just so I can show it for the picture at the end, and then I'll put them back on. So I'm just going to move those aside and then portion out the lunches, and we're just about done. Alright. So basically, I'm not going to, normally what I do is put this in a bowl and weigh it out so that I can get an exact amount for each portion, but because this is mostly vegetables, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to kind of separate it into 6 portions. I was getting ready to scoop that into there and almost forgot about the rice. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup in the bottom of each dish. Now, if you are on the purple plan, you could use brown rice instead, and that will probably bring your points down some. I would say maybe at least a point. Okay. And then, so as you saw, I did not cook this rice. Because this is the 90-second rice, I'm just going to put it in the bottom of the dish, and it should cook enough the day that we have it. And then I've already portioned my, just kind of portion it into 6. Top the vegetables on there. Alright, that is it. So, I am looking forward to this week. I think I say that every week. Can y'all tell I like food? Alright, so let me put everything out and then I will show you up close what this looks like and show you what we ended up with and how many points everything is. Alright, here we have it. This is meal prep for the week. So, snacks over here, I have my pretzels that are 3 points for 29 grams. And I will be using the Casa Mamita. I've been saying that wrong. Casa Mamita queso. That is 1 point for 2 tablespoons. And then the other snacks I'm going to be having, I have Greek yogurt in here, strawberry cheesecake. I have my snack pack puddings. These are sugar-free. Those are 2 points. I also have some 0 point sugar-free Jell-O in there. And then my cucumbers with Olive Garden light Italian dressing. Those are 0. And then for breakfast for Thursday, I'm just going to have this oatmeal. Friday, I'll have 2 points worth of Fiber One cereal. My unsweetened almond milk, that's 0. And then, I cannot wait to have these. The cake batter pancakes. They look and smell delicious. And then I have a point worth of Canadian bacon. You can actually have 4 slices of Canadian bacon for a point, but I didn't have enough to have 4 slices, so I'm just doing 2 slices. And then my 1/4 cup of syrup. So that is going to be 3 points for blue and purple, 5 points for green for the pancake, and then 1 point for the Canadian bacon. So for blue and purple, this is a 4-point breakfast. And for green, this would be a 6-point breakfast. And then our kielbasa bowls, love these, love these, love these. So you can see it's got rice and then all the veggies and turkey kielbasa. These are 6 points each on all programs. Like I said, you could probably do it less on purple if you use brown rice. So for dinners, I'm doing Philly style Hasselback chicken, which is 4 points for blue, 4 points for purple, 7 points for green. I'm going to pair that with zucchini and squash lime crema for 2 points. And then basil Parmesan salmon, 2 blue, 2 purple, 9 green. And I'm going to do that with rice for 3 points and asparagus for 0. I actually thought about not doing the rice since I'm having rice with the lunches, but you saw the small amount of rice I'm putting in each bowl, so I'm still going to have rice with that for dinner. And then crispy breaded pork chops, 5 blue, 5 purple, 6 green. And I'm going to be having that with some roasted potatoes for 3 and ranch cauliflower for 2. Alright everyone, that's it. We made it through another week of meal prep. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And remember, if you are new to meal prepping, you do not need to do all this. This is just to give you a basic idea of the things that you can do throughout the week to make things a little bit easier and help you to stay on track. So if you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Make sure to click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you're notified anytime I upload new content. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you in my next video. I'm Kristi, and I'm planning us healthy.